Hello, beautiful people. It's Sylvia from Horizon Mental Health Clinic. I'm a psychotherapist and I'm author, I'm mother, I'm wife, lots of different roles. But mainly, I am me. So, today we will be talking about a little bit about self-care, a little bit about the belief of I can't, we will be talking about the trap that you have put yourself in. Yes, you heard me, no one else but you. You yourself, you have put yourself in the cage, in the trap of very unhealthy self-beliefs. And I want to explore that concept a little bit more because I believe it will help you to see how worthy and how valuable and how good and how much goodness you actually deserve in your life. So, the golden cage, as you can see in the title. What is it? What do I mean when I say get yourself free? Like set yourself free from the golden cage. What is that? So, what I mean by the golden cage is we're in a situation where we believe there is no way out. So it could be a job, well-paid job maybe, and like good pension and good, all the package looks all good. Monday to Friday, weekends off, it's all good from outside. Inside, it's not that great. Why? Because you don't feel happy and you don't feel fulfilled in that job. This is why I call it a golden cage. From outside, looks lovely, looks amazing. Inside, not so good. And doesn't make you happy. Doesn't make you feel like you're fulfilling. So, another situation where you're feeling trapped in a golden cage is maybe you're a single parent. I can't go and look after my career. I can't go and look after myself. I can't go and come back to college because I'm a mother, and who will look after my kids? And I feel like I can't do anything. I feel like I feel trapped, and now I'm giving all in for my kids, or for the child. Again, trap. There is no way out. From every single situation you put yourself in or that you believe you're in, there is always a way out. So, let me give you another example of the golden trap. Maybe you're in a relationship, maybe it's a long-term relationship, and you have kids, you have a house, but something is missing. Something is missing. You feel it with every cell inside you. Maybe you're not in love anymore, maybe you're not happy, maybe there's lack of support and you have been trying maybe couple counseling and it didn't really work and you feel stuck, but you're afraid to take the first move and change anything. That is exactly what I'm meaning when I say this is your golden cage. From outside, looks everything. Creates the illusion that people from outside that looking at your cage, they feel maybe they would want that for themselves. That's exactly what they want. Perfect job, well paid, family, marriage, house. What all of that means if you're not happy in it. if it doesn't fulfill your needs. And then you feel stuck, and you feel unhappy, and you feel very irritating, and like it's very easy for you to feel frustrated, and like it's all end. But what do you do about it? You're sitting and complaining, believing that you can't do something? My dear, you can. You can do anything. But first of all, you got to believe that it is okay for you to make that decision. It's like you have to allow yourself, you have to give yourself permission to look after yourself, to look after your needs, to look after your desires. Because if you want to do it, if you want to look after your dreams and your desires, who else will? Yeah, you guessed. No one. That is actually your responsibility. To look after yourself, to look after your needs, and create the life you want. Not tomorrow. No. Not tomorrow. Now. Because that's all what we have. Is now. You don't create a happy life next month. You don't create a good mood inside yourself, or you don't create self-worth tomorrow, next week, next month. No, I can't do this now because there's this big project that I'm actually working now, and then, oh my God, what will they do if I won't accomplish that? They will survive. They will survive without you. Will you survive without you? Oh, I don't think so. This is why I say this is your main responsibility to look actually after yourself and not everybody else. It's you have to see yourself as an important person. You have to see yourself as someone who is worthy of your own time. And you have to prioritize yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with saying, I'm not cleaning the house today, I'm actually going for a walk. That is okay. I'm not cooking. We can order something. I'm actually spending my own time for myself reading my favorite book. That is okay. But before you can do it, you have to give yourself permission to do those things. As a psychotherapist, I'm working with loads of different people. And very often, I do talk about self-care and looking after yourself and do things for yourself and setting boundaries. Yes, very important skill, and it is an act of self-care. Being assertive, saying no to things. Yes, self-care. That is prioritizing yourself. Talking to yourself in a good manner. Respecting yourself, respecting your needs. How do you talk to yourself? What is your relationship with yourself? All of this contribute to how you feel about yourself. And if this, how you feel about yourself projects out to your external world. In my work, when people come to me and we talk about different concepts, and they say, okay, I want to change my life, I want to change my mindset, I want to change my attitude, I want to change my behavior, I want to change my habits, I want to change my lifestyle, 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 I want to change my l Sooner or later, there's always the self-care, boundaries, being assertive, looking after yourself, prioritizing yourself, all of this. I always check in. And very often, actually majority of time, what I hear is, before I hear anything actually, I actually see it. The client kind of freaks. It's like, what did you just say? I can't prioritize myself. It's like the tension in the body kind of frees people. And they kind of get fidgety because they're not comfortable with what they hear. And then they say, but Sylvia, is that not selfish? No, it's not. Looking after yourself and looking after your needs, it's not selfish. It's necessary. And why? Where's the evidence that looking after yourself, it's not actually selfish? That it's self-care, it's actually a very good thing. So let me explain why exactly being selfish, it's a polar opposite. If you are looking after like your own self, it comes from a good place. It comes from inside, with kindness, with self-love, with self-respect, with self-acceptance. Because if you're accepting yourself the way you are, if you're being kind to yourself, if you're looking after your own needs, automatically you're giving a message to your subconsciousness that, yes, I am important. So if I am important, I'm valuable. And if I'm valuable, oh my God, I'm a worthy person. And then all of a sudden you realize you actually don't need anybody else to make you happy. But yourself. You don't need external validations when you look after yourself in a very good, healthy, respectful manner. Self-care, number one. This is your priority. And I'm not going to tell you, yes, you should be exercising. Yes, you should be have a healthy diet. Yes, you know all of this. You know, deep down, you exactly know what self-care is for yourself. Is it yoga? Is it, I don't know, spending 2 hours in the gym? You know this. I don't need to tell you. You don't actually need anybody to tell you what self-care is for yourself. You know that. My self-care will be completely different to somebody else's, and that is okay. Because what relaxes me, what charges my batteries, what makes me feel happy and fulfilled and like in this blissful mode, I know what makes me happy. You don't need to hear what other, from other people's opinion, what they think will make you happy. That is not self-care. It needs to come from you. What do you like to do? What does relax you? What makes you feel like you're in the state of wholeness? So when you do look after yourself, when you give yourself time and permission to sit with yourself, it comes from a very good place. It comes from your heart. It comes from love. And if you can't give that to yourself, you don't rely then on other people. You don't rely on other people to actually make you happy. You don't rely on them, and you don't expect them to treat you this way or that way. You don't allow them to control your life. Because another golden cage is when we rely so much on other people to make us happy. When we rely on other people to bring us external validations, to validate what we do, to validate how we look like. You know, that is not a place where you want to be. Because then, when someone don't give you what you need, when someone doesn't meet your expectations, when someone is not what you wanted them to be, to make you feel good, you feel disappointed, you feel less, you feel like you're not worthy. And then what you do? The internal talk, the judgment, the ego is yapping. Yapping at yourself. That you're not good enough, that you're this, that you're that how dare you, how could you? And brings more demands. And the self inside you, it's getting smaller and smaller. So, do you see how self-care and being selfish are not even like this close? They're completely out, they're completely like total opposites. Like they don't come together. Because if you're giving kindness to yourself, you're well able to give kindness to other people. If you don't look after yourself and even you don't give yourself kindness, then you're going to accept the little thing from everybody, and you will settle for that and be like, yeah, okay, if that's how worthy I am to just receive this little of of respect from somebody else, then I have to settle for that. But that is not happiness. This is not how we create happiness. Happiness is a state of mind. It can't be earned. It can't be bought. It can't be forced. It just is. You're either happy or you're not. And then who's in charge of that? You are. You are in charge of your reality. And you are creating your reality now. Now. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Not now. Now is the time of creation. So if you're now not happy, what are you going to do with that? Why it's so hard for us to accept a little bit kindness from ourselves? Why are we treating ourselves with so why are we so judgmental of ourselves? Why do we not accept us for who we are? Why we always look for flaws, but we don't look the benefits, the advantages that we actually have in why do we not look for the goodness in us? And very often, it comes back as far as your childhood. Not always, but very often. Because how many times did you hear that your parent or your caregiver is actually comparing you to somebody else or makes you feel like you can't do things? Yeah. Childhood isn't easy. I actually wrote an article called Childhood versus Adulthood and what's worse. It's actually on my website. It's psychotherapykuchena.com. You can find it. And I was trying to be as objective as possible in that article, but let's be honest, I couldn't. I couldn't be objective. I tried to be, and with some parts I did edit it and I did put some objectives in it. But did I like to be a child? No, absolutely. I hated being a child. Why? Because I felt like I had no control over me, and I was all the time relying on other people to provide for me, to care for me, to bring things to me, and my goodness, that was exhausting. But thankfully, we are adults now. We are adults. I'm an adult, you're an adult. So what does that mean? It means the game is on. No, but seriously, it means that you can't take responsibility for yourself without waiting or asking for anybody's permission but yourself. That's what it means. Being an adult means you're creating your life the way you want it without asking for permission. Is it okay to change? Is it okay to leave the job? Is it okay to want to have dreams? And is it okay to be happy? This is the difference between being an adult and being a child. So, if you're an adult living like a child who doesn't have the power of their life, who feels like life is out of control, like life passes you by your finger and like you can't catch it, then you got to change something. And it's not the people that needs to change. No, it's you. It's actually you, my dear. Because if we want to change our life, we got to change ourselves. Wow. And the whole concept of self-care, let me just share you my own story with the self-care. When I started to train as a psychotherapist, very much the college was very strict on self-care, and we had to journal about it and we had to tell them how we do it, and and it was like a full semester of just self-care, and I'm like, oh my god, like when will we get to actually learn the proper stuff? When will we get to see, the juicy stuff? And I didn't understand the self-care at all. I didn't understand how important it is. But because they forced us to sit with it and to really think about self-care and what it is and how we should really approach it, it's like the whole concept of my life really changed. Like, oh my god. So, if I will look after myself, it means that I'll be more happier. So at the beginning, I was very resistant to stuff. I'm like, no, let's do it. Go on, let's do it. And then it really slowed me down. Now I know how to look after myself. But do I listen to myself all of the time? I learned a very harsh lesson 3 years ago. When my body stopped working. I'm literally laughing now, but I wasn't laughing then. Yes, I was working as a psychotherapist, and then I was doing college. I did loads of different things at the time, and I was a mother at the time. I'm still a mother at the time. So I was a mother, I was wife, but then on top of everything else and all of my roles, I had a very little time for myself. I worked for over 50 hours a week, and then Oh, it was just traveling even. It was just very stressful time. My grandma got sick at the time. She was in hospital. It was loads of things. Absolutely loads of things that just kind of started to throw at me. And what did I do? Did I slow down? Did I take time for myself? Did I was like, okay, this is what is happening. I need to take some time for myself, to look after myself, because this is difficult. No, I didn't do that. What did I do? Go on. I was pushing myself until it's like the switch went off in my body, like no more. Did I feel it inside? Of course I did. Oh, I did. I felt exhaustion, a constant exhaustion. Everything was an effort. Every single thing was an effort for me that time. Did I enjoy anything? The bare minimum. And that wasn't me, because usually I'm a very energized person. Usually I'm very bubbly and very happy, very positive. Yes, that's me. That time, I was very low. So, my body decided, okay, no more of that ignorance. We're not going to accept that. Off. So, yes, I got very sick over the night. I was vomiting all night, excuse me. I hope you're okay with that. And then I couldn't do anything. For next week, I didn't have the energy to lift a glass with juice. It was too much of an effort. My body clapped. I was so angry. Why did it happen to me? Why? I was at the time when I was so busy. This is exactly what happened. Because I was so busy and I didn't pay attention to myself. I wasn't looking after myself. Yes, I learned the hard way. And then I had to make commitment. I had to make myself promise that next time I will listen to my body more. That I will prioritize myself more. Very soon after that, I left my job. And that was the best decision I ever did. Because ever since, everything that I felt was holding me back. So the last 3 years of my life were extraordinary. But I had to clap before I could race. You don't have to do that. All what you got to do is to pay attention to yourself. Because you are your priority. You're the most important person in your life. You're the most valuable person in your life. And yes, you can do it. You can. So get yourself out of that golden cage and start acting like you can. Because you can.